I like to make things as organized as possible on our end for the sellers so we can make the best calculated decisions. Our job is to best represent our sellers, and having a detailed plan in place with kind of clearly laid out expectations and a timeline will certainly allow greater success in achieving those desired goals, right?
All right. So I'm super excited to have a wonderful conversation with Dave Ozubko from the Ozubko real estate team. Why is your name hard for me? It's not that hard.
Hard for everybody, Shane.
Yeah. It's a great name and it's memorable, so I love that. Do they call you Oz? Was that a thing?
No, it was my initials. DO was the big name growing up for about the last how many ever
Yo.
years. Hospitality was DO. So
Perfect. I appreciate you joining and sharing some pro tips. I know that you've been licensed now since 2014, which is amazing, and been a strong producer, well known in our community as being a great person to deal with and a go-getter. I know you've done panels for many people, and then you and I have had a lot of conversations about how we can do better and how we can help the industry. And so I appreciate you spending some time here today. I know that you've been consistently chairman and Titan producer, and I know that you're looking to be diamond team this year and never come below that, right? Going forward.
that's the goal, man. The big, hairy, audacious goal. Let's go for it.
I love it. I love it. And I wanted to pick your brain and share some insights with our family about working with sellers in a seller's market, preparing them for potential multiple offers, how to best manage that. And so I know you kind of took a couple minutes to write down a few things. So yeah, maybe start us off by explaining, how are you preparing your clients for potential seller's market? And then we'll just kind of shoot the shit a little bit. Sound good?
Yeah. Cool, Shane. Well, our goal and our job is to best represent our sellers, and having a detailed plan in place with kind of clearly laid out expectations and a timeline will certainly allow greater success in achieving those desired goals, right? I can just share with you what we've been doing and what's worked. Typically, our plan and intention is to get that listing to market either late in the day, Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
I will have up in the neighborhood the week in advance a bunch of new listing signs. We've got the for sale sign on the lawn, ideally to hopefully drive and generate some interest for us to kind of start fielding potential buyers. So the house goes for sale Wednesday, Thursday night. We ask our clients to make the house very readily available over the duration of the first 3-4 days, just so we can allow access to the agents to give it the proper exposure. I have a hanger sign that I put underneath our for sale sign that says open house Saturday from 1 to 3. So anybody that's driving through the neighborhood will know that that's going to be happening, because it does take a bit of time for it to go from MLS, realtor.ca and all that stuff.
Okay.
We'll then host the open house on the afternoon from 1 to 3. Try and have the house open free and clear before that as well. So if there's buyers and their agents that want to go out and check on it, certainly important to give them the opportunity. And then often we're looking at offers, Sunday afternoon, early evening. So then we've given the property some time to have bodies through it. So you're looking at Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're working on getting feedback as the showings are going through, so we know who or what may have interest in the property. And then allocating time with our clients, the sellers. It's really important to give them some specific instructions too on, like, hey, this is when we're going to meet. We're going to look and discuss offers, so they know what's going on as well.
Okay. So then I guess if you're in a situation where there is multiple interest, it's not coming as a surprise to you, right?
No, we're doing our homework. We're following up. We're keeping in touch. We're trying to keep our hands on the listing, so we know exactly what's going on.
Okay. And now, do you set like obviously this is more for agents, right? Like it's a agent training kind of tips. Now, are you setting an expectation that offers will be presented at X time? Is that right in the listing? Or are you talking to people as they come in? Are you waiting for someone to want to write first before triggering that? How do you work that?
Yeah, we usually put it in the private remarks.
Okay.
Offers will be offers to be submitted and reviewed by 5 p.m. on Sunday. I try and keep Sunday evenings for myself as well, so I don't want to do it too late in the day. But I think that gives people sufficient time. And, obviously, if there was more interest and people wanted to write offers, we can certainly extend that at the discretion of the seller.
Great. Yeah, I love that because it is by the seller's written instruction, right? You can change.
100%, right?
And as long as you're communicating that to everybody, then that's great.
We as agents sometimes forget, like, the sellers really hold a lot of the leverage in how this unfolds. And we're able to give our sellers, proper instructions and speak from past experiences, which then allows them the opportunity to make an audible or to change the play if desired. Right?
Yeah. And then, like, I guess, and some people are like, well, what if I put that offers are to be presented, Sunday at 4 p.m. and I don't have any offers?
Yeah, well, that's the reality of it, right? You may not. And if the listing's gone up on Thursday and you've only had, 2 showings up until Saturday, the open house wasn't a huge success, you may want to remove that from your private remarks and then kind of allow offers to come in as they come in, because that can also backfire if you're having that and there's no offers, and all of a sudden, the buyer's agent's going to have a little bit more leverage for negotiation.
Great.
Yeah.
And I like, there was a real key piece in there that you mentioned, is that you control the timeline, right? And your schedule. And so you're not presenting offers Sunday evening at 11 p.m., right? Because that's like, that doesn't work for you and your clients, right?
Manage your schedule. You know what? Give the property time, but also allow yourself the opportunity to do your life and what you need to do. For us, family days, typically on Sunday, and I don't mind working on Sundays, but I don't really necessarily want to be negotiating an offer at 9:30 on Sunday night, as I think we could have done that earlier in the day, or maybe we just do it on Monday morning if people are busy.
Yeah, 10 or noon on Monday is great. Yeah, sure, right. And so I want to talk a little bit about, we have multiple offers coming in. There's, let's say, 5 offers coming in, and how we prep our sellers and how we prep the buyers on how that process goes. But I first wanted to highlight, so we're building interest, right? Early on. So we got signage out, we probably flyer drop the area to, hey, we got a new listing coming up. You're doing a bit of a coming soon campaign. You probably communicated it out to your database and social media, right? To build a lot of interest and enhance the opportunity to get multiple bids. Now you've set a date. Let's say the timeline is 4 p.m. on Sunday to look at all offers. What if I bring you an offer Friday evening above the asking price, unconditional? How do you handle that?
Well, we have to present it to our sellers. And at that point in time, it's a discussion, and we have to look at the situation. And, there's, and I can speak from experience on this. I've been in this situation before where, we had the offer come in on a Friday. We weren't looking at offers till Sunday.
Yep.
And the seller opted to wait until Sunday as they were wanting to have more offers.
Mm-hmm.
And that one offer on Friday night expired. They never came back to the table. We didn't end up having additional offers on Sunday. And that house ended up selling 2 or 3 months later for about 30 or 40 grand less.
Wow.
The reality is, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. If you have something that's super clean, works for the seller, it's a great offer, it's a consideration. Now, there's some risk there because, there could be another offer with more money. But, we have to present the pros and the cons on how this can effectively go down if we decide to wait.
Yeah, no, it's great. And that strategy, like if me bringing the offer, I would call that a bully offer. I know that you're thinking about Sunday, but I'm going to push my agenda to get my buyer's property or offer presented. And ideally, it should be a good offer if I want to try to bully it to make a decision. And it's good to know of who you're having a conversation with. And if they're going to look at offers as they come in, Or if there's a hard seller's instructions, we will not look at offers until Sunday. Well, then you wouldn't present any offers until Sunday, right? But as you said, those instructions can change as things develop and you get new information. It's definitely a moving target. So know who you're dealing with on the other side. Good. Appreciate the insights on that. And so it's Sunday evening, or it's coming to presentation time, and we've got, let's say there's 4 offers coming in. How are we preparing the seller, and what are you saying to the agents? How are you communicating to the agents?
Well, I like to make things as organized as possible on our end for the sellers so we can make the best calculated decision. So we'll make a time to meet. In a situation like this, I think face-to-face can often be beneficial. If not, we want to make sure that they've have all of the offers, but I like to print off all the offers. I'll have my little post-it notes on with highlighted marks of each one. We'll have confirmation on who has actually a written pre-approval and who doesn't. I also do something a little bit different. I believe the buyer's agent plays a role here on how this goes down, and doing some research on them, their track record. You know, do they actually want to purchase the property, or are they just interested in tying it up, locking it up, wasting time? And you know, they've done this with 3 or 4 other properties, you know, because there's those agents out there. So you certainly want to do your homework on that. And then it's a matter of sitting down and, okay, like, often price is the most important thing. But the reality is that's not always the case. For some people, the timeline is super important, whether that's the closing date, the conditions, the deposit, goods included. You know, there could be a lot of stuff in there that ultimately will sway the buyer's decision. You know, often some buyer's agents will present a letter of introduction, some information about their buyers, who they are, why they want to purchase the house.
Yeah.
That can often sway a seller as well if there's some emotional attachment to maybe being good people, or a young family and they have a great yard where their kid grew up. So those things can all play a factor.
Yeah, I love that. All of my clients were newlyweds with having their first baby. Is that weird? Is that weird?
Suspicious, right?
Just, I'm totally kidding, obviously.
I know.
But it does. I mean, if you can in a competition, if the offers are the same or very similar, a little bit of personality, or you know, something similar, or a compliment about the home or something like that, can make a big difference in who the seller wants to work with. So yeah, great insights. I loved it. And you said, like, you like to do a bit of research on the agents. So you're looking at what, how long they've been in the business, maybe a little bit. And
Yeah, you know what? It's easy to go on Google and to find out, you know, maybe they have a Google business page, maybe they don't. You know, go on realtor.ca to see what they have for you know, any actual listings. There's a lot of stuff that you can see. And I'm not saying that somebody who's new to the business doesn't have a chance, but if I'm in a situation on the seller side and we've got 4 or 5 offers and they're all very comparable, but I get to work with a more seasoned expert who has a track record, and maybe we've done business in the past that was clean, fluent, there was no kind of, you know, nonsense in between, and the deals got done. I'll share that with my client, being, hey, look, I've done deals with, you know, Alan G 4 times and they get done. You know, he's here today. This is a good consideration.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah. And I guess even leading up to it, how have they been communicating with you? You know, how responsive are they, right? And those types of things all make a difference on there, right?
It surprises me how many offers get sent in and submitted with no phone call, no introduction. Even the email with the offer doesn't have any information about their client. It's just like, here's the offer. It's like, that's the best you can actually do for your clients.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what happens when you have 4,000 plus licensees and they just give it away to whoever, right?
Yeah, I have noticed a bit of a trend, because we do have to help out, or we get to help out when our agents are in a potential conflict, right? And so we'll present to sellers when our agents have a buyer that they're presenting as well, and they're in multiples. And it is interesting to see how some of the offers come in. And you know, like I had one last weekend, there was a term added. All the term said was professional cleaning. That's what the term was. I was like, great.
Meaning
I said that to the seller and they go, what does that mean? I was like, really? It means nothing. And like, there's no clear understanding of what that is, right? And so that doesn't instill confidence in this agent's ability, right? And their where they're coming from and their training and all that type of thing. So it didn't help that cause, right?
very vague, weak term that's lacking specifics and expectations on who's to do what by when, and if that doesn't happen, then what, right?
Yeah. And there was also, I've seen a trend of agents not putting their best offer together in multiple offers and hoping or expecting the seller to make a counter offer. And I found that that's very interesting. It's like, oh, you accepted this offer, but you didn't counter us. It's like, yeah, your offer wasn't as good. We had no reason to work with you, right? And so to have that expectation, I think is a miss. And, like if you're a buyer agent, you ideally should be putting your best offer together with the most favorable terms for the seller, right? Like,
You need to, if your buyers want to buy the property,
yeah,
should be going all in, like in terms of, what their comfort level is, and what they want to pay, and not leaving anything for chance or, hey, call me back and maybe we can negotiate, because it's gone.
yeah. The so how about deposit? How does that factor in for you with when you're working with your seller? What is your expectations, I guess, for maybe at different price points or anything like that? What do you look at and think is favorable?
I think the deposit's important, and although that deposit is fully refundable based on the conditions to the buyer's satisfaction, we all know there's a way out. But a deposit to me shows interest and intent. There's also an action there of either going to the bank or doing the EFT and putting it in. Depending on the closing, like if we're doing a 90-day close and they're just doing $5,000 up front, there's a good chance we're going to ask for an additional deposit. So we've got some extra security in the game in case they happen to, not complete the sale.
Yeah.
And I'll often see the offers come in with like a $1,000 or a $2,000 deposit, and it's like, do you guys want to buy the property, or are you just putting 1,000 here, so then when the next house comes for sale, you're going to put another 1,000 over there?
Right.
Right. So no, I'm a stickler on the deposit. I'm a big fan of the additional deposits if we've got an extended closing. From a pricing and deposit expectations on a $400,000 or $500,000 house, I think the deposit needs to be a minimum of 5 to 10 grand. Anything above that is bonus, and then once you cross 700, 800, $1 million, then I think the deposit needs to be 20K plus.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that in my own mindset as well. I think that's important. It's bare minimum, you're putting 5% down as a down payment. So show me that you can afford this home.
Yeah.
And that you're putting a little bit of skin in the game. Also, as agents, the deposit protects the deal.
For sure.
Right? There is more of a commitment. And if there's anything that's, making the offer or making the deal a little bit unsteady after the conditions are removed, that buyer is going to work harder to figure things out to make it work, rather than just like, I'm just going to walk away from that and sue me, right? Like when it's too low, it doesn't attach them to the deal as much. Right?
100%.
Cool. Another piece I wanted to kind of pick your brain out, and this is something that we teach our agents as far as a potential strategy when going into multiple offers, is an escalation clause. Now, do you, I know we're in a market right now where there's multiple offers. Do you see these coming in? How do you look at them as an agent? Because I know as a strategy, knowing who you're competing with or who you're presenting to, how they look at it varies from agent to agent. Some people reject it right outright, and some like it and want to work with it. How do you look at it?
You know what? Like, I think in the last couple of years, we've seen escalation clauses, more and more. They've become a bit more popular. I personally think they're a bit of a lazy way out, but if the escalation clause says, $3,000 more than the highest offer, I mean, and your highest offer is 510 grand, that's 513, like, there it is. So there's certainly nothing wrong with it. It's a kind of again, it goes back to how the seller wants to, accept it or not. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a wrong thing. If that's how somebody wants to do it and that's what they're prepared to do, here it is. We're all in. Okay, right?
Right. So if you're in multiple offers with Dave, go ahead and throw your escalation clause in there. Right? But I mean, but at the end of the day, if it's still significantly a lot lower of an offer and deposit's not good or dates are off, just saying that you're willing to pay more isn't probably enough to get the eyeballs or even a counter offer, right?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I'm glad that you brought that up, Shane, because if they've got the escalation clause in there and it's a week off or otherwise with a crappy deposit, poor conditions, no pre-approval, we're probably just going to skip on to offers 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, great. Anything else in your notes that maybe we didn't go over or that you wanted to share, or a strategy that
No, I think that's probably plenty there. I don't know if I have any else. I don't have any other hidden secrets, that's for sure.
Good. Well, and I know that you're always been an open book and very collaborative with our folks and into the industry as well. So very, very much appreciate you sharing some insights on how you work with your sellers on multiple offers, generating and managing multiple offers. And I'm sure some of this information will be helpful for some of our agents. And I did want to do a quick plug too, because I know that Dave, that you work very closely, hashtag Realtor to the rescue with the animal rescues here in Edmonton. Do you want to plug that at all or share that?
Yeah. You know what, I'd love to, Shane. That's something that I can speak very passionately about. My wife and I, we got our first rescue dog about 7 years ago, and it was probably one of the most moving experiences ever. And I knew nothing about rescues. I was unfamiliar with the whole cause. And, we don't have kids. And after looking at that process and everything else, we decided, we want to have a charity of choice, something that we can rally behind and support. And, there's so many animals out there that don't have a voice, that don't have a chance. And, the animal rescue community is just a group of people who are typically volunteer based. There's no shelters, there's no infrastructure. It's not a bunch of high paid CEOs taking all these big government grants. It's just real people that are working for the welfare and the benefit and the well-being of these animals in need. So we proudly allocate funds from every one of our sales to support local animal rescue. We built it into our operating budget. Our goal this year will be for $15,000, and I think since we started the program, we've donated and raised well over $50,000, and I love it. Helping people and pets find forever homes, baby.
Awesome. That's great. Love that. Love that plug-in. So if you want to know more about that, feel free to reach out to Dave. He's happy to talk to you about it and tell you where you can send your money.
Or volunteer. Right now, we are desperately looking for foster families. Foster families is a temporary home for the animal while they're in adoption mode. Veterinary care, food, everything is taken care of by the rescue. So you basically get to home one of these beautiful animals, bring it into your family, have all these great experiences, and then once they find the adoptive family, they're on to their forever home.
It sounds like trouble. It sounds like you're just going to end up with a lot of pets, I think.
Well, we call that foster fail. When you take it a foster, then you adopt it. It's a foster fail. But are you really failing? I don't know.
No, I'm sure. No, that's great. I love that. So, but that, yeah, just shows the character, right, and who you are, and I appreciate that. So, again, if you're looking for a great agent, reach out to Dave. And obviously, if you're one of our agents or one of the great agents in our community, and you want to pick his brain, I know that he's always available for a lunch or go for some tea and have a nice chat, right?
When I entered the industry, Shane, years ago, I was very fortunate with the collaboration over at our former REMAX office and with some of the agents, and they gave me so much information because as a starting agent, it's very, very difficult to get into, and they don't teach you all the technical aspects of it in the class. So certainly the opportunity to give back to the new agents coming in. This industry has been great for my family and I. It's given us a lovely lifestyle. We get to work with amazing people. We're involved with the highest stakes transaction of their lives quite often, and people absolutely rely on us. So I love this industry. So if I can help out, I'd be glad to.
Awesome. Okay, much appreciated. Bless you and have an amazing day. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, man. Take it easy.